How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? Yeah. Okay. How's it going?
Good,
Colton.
Brian.
Nice to meet you, Ryan. You new here?
Newish, yeah.
Newish.
March.
Nice, man. I'm so happy to have you. You feel free to come to the front. I don't know how many people are gonna be in person. But if it's just you and me, I feel like it'd be awkward if I'm yelling at the back. Give it a couple minutes for anyone else is coming in. Something's a little slower around here. How are you doing?
All right,
Yeah.
it's too hot out, man.
No kidding. What made you Williams in March?
Oh, I was moving from Corpus Christi. At the time I was helping my sister's KW team on the island,
We're in Corpus.
Hunter Island.
Okay, my wife's from Port Lavaca, like kind of near the Corpus area.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that like near Port Arthur kind of?
near Port O'Connor.
Mm,
You know where that is?
I don't think so.
Okay, it's by the water.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way for me to put it. Hey Doug, how's it going? Good, and you?
Doing good. Hey, stranger. You need to meet up before 4th of July, let me know.
Yeah, okay,
I'm out until next Wednesday.
sounds good.
Fulton, I'll be.
Alrighty. No worries. Let me give, I'm gonna start probably at 12:05. So what were you doing in Corpus?
I was helping my sister's team, just kind of doing office work. I was joining their team.
Team is in real estate?
Yeah. I was working on my license. And then I was working the kind of like a in between for a group of people in Dallas that bought like 300 homes down there and they were renting them out.
Mhm.
So I was kind of the middleman while I studied. And my dad got sick, so I moved to Dallas to help him out and then got my license and just joined.
How's your dad?
But he's doing better, but it's a lot of driving in to and from appointments and it's not the best, but he's in remission, so that's good.
Sorry to hear about that.
No, it's all good.
We're in Dallas.
Richardson,
Okay, not too far from here.
yeah, not far at all.
Nice. So did you just get your own place up here? Or you with them?
I'm living with him, looking around, seeing what's best.
Sure, he'll know as a realtor, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah. So is it just you?
It's just me.
Nice, man. So brand new city, brand new everything, huh?
Well, I grew up here. I went to high school here.
Oh,
And then I went to college in San Diego and then moved to Corpus and now I'm back.
San Diego State.
Now, Point Loma,
Okay. Yeah.
majored in surfing essentially.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. And not much surfing here.
Yeah, I know.
What high school did you go to?
Jesuit,
Oh, okay. Do you know Matthew Slovak?
down,
He played running back. What year? Oh, sorry. How old are you?
13.
2013. Okay, he was 2015. I had a bunch of people from my fraternity. They were all from Jesuit, a few from the ones in Houston, but a few from the ones here in Dallas, but they were all 2014 and I guess you say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where'd you
but
go to college?
I went to A&M.
Oh, nice.
I was there for 2 years, majored in fraternity, and then I
Okay, yeah,
transferred to UNC and graduated there in a year. I was back in 2019, so and I've been doing mortgage for 3.5 years now.
You like it?
Yeah, man, I love it, dude. I get to hang out with people like y'all. So and realtors are fun. And for me, I'm like super social, but I love numbers. I'm a big problem solver. And so for me, it's like I kind of get the best of both worlds, get to nerd out a little bit, get to also go hang out with some cool people.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then help people get into homes, man. So that's an exciting thing for someone. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister was just on House Hunters on Monday. So it was like,
you just on what?
House Hunters, the show,
She was on the show?
yeah, in Corpus.
Holy cow.
And I was like, man, can't wait till I'm making moves like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna shut this door and we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna blow your mind today, though. We're gonna have a great class.
It's weird seeing her on TV.
So is this her blonde?
Yeah,
Oh my God, like blood sister.
yeah, my sister.
Dang, so is she, what side was she on? The real estate side?
Mhm.
She wasn't a client.
No, she was.
Okay.
She wishes she was shopping for that.
Dude.
Have you been there? Good.
You staying busy?
Not so much real estate, but with other projects. But now I'm back full time, so coming into the office.
Start meeting on a weekly basis again.
Yep.
Get everything rolling.
We're talking about getting stuff rolling today too. You doing good today, Doug?
I'm doing good, yeah. Finally got some sleep for an evening.
You and me both. I've been jet lagged so bad.
For me, it's not jet lag. I just go through periods in which I just can't sleep. Yeah, it's like if I take sleep aids, it's like I feel really groggy.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
don't help my legs at all. You get what I'm saying?
What do you take for sleep?
Well, now, don't judge me, but I'm actually cutting up THC gummies and I'm actually taking a little bit of those.
I was actually gonna
Because that seems to keep my legs from spasming throughout the evening.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily put me to sleep. Sometimes it will. Sometimes I also need to take like Advil PM or something like that to really knock me out. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it keeps me from kicking my wife in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I was about to say my dad, he has a talk radio show he's sponsoring. He just picked up My CBD is the company and they've few stores here in DFW. And I went back home the other day and I have ADHD, big trouble sleeping. I'm either completely dead asleep or I like can't sleep all night long. I'll be up till 3, 4 in the morning doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he gave me some of these CBD gummies that are, I mean, it just, I woke up and it's 9 AM and I'm late. I'm like, well, that was great. So it's.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've got to take mine at 8 o'clock because if I take it any later, I'm not waking up until 8 AM. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I've been at because the kids are out of school. We don't need to get them there by 7:30, 7:45, that type of thing. So everybody in the house is waking up late for the summer. So
Cool.
It is what it is right now.
Heck yeah. Well, sweet. Well, this class is going to be more of a mastermind because I knew it was going to be a smaller crowd with summer. Hopefully we get. I got it.
All right. Thank you.
Hello. Looks like it's done. How's it?
Good morning.
Howdy.
I see you got my desk.
Your desk is in my office, yes.
Beautiful. And Doug, if you need some bro with you at some point, actually, just in case.
Oh, thank you.
So one thing that I've noticed, really is I'm trying to figure out how to be more creative with these classes. So I got to the point where I just wanted to really take a lot of the knowledge that I've learned from Wally, a lot of my mentors, and really just try to pour out to y'all on how we really generate a ton of referrals by not going and knocking on every single door. And there is nothing wrong with door knocking, by the way. But for us, we really try to consolidate into turning clients and partners into referral machines. So today I'm going to be breaking down a few things from books that I've read. I've actually gotten coaching personally from the author here, Mike Mayer, Seminoles of Communication. I'm definitely going to ask you to buy a copy of this. I don't care if it's an audio book. It's one of the best books getting into real estate. Even if you're a year two, it's amazing. I got a few other things that's going to be jam-packed, but really we're going to take our time with this. And I'm almost going to have you also build out kind of a little bit of a system with me today. How you use that system is going to be up to you and your coaches. But for me, it's really just going to be pouring out to y'all. And at any point, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me. My name is Colton Chase. Actually tomorrow, I'm kind of prematurely saying this. I'm actually launching my own team under Benchmark Mortgage, so starting the Chase team. So that gets launched tomorrow. I'm super excited. I have a full-time employee and I have a lady coming in at 1 o'clock, which she'll probably be my first loan officer underneath me. So super excited to take this next step in my journey. You'll be seeing a lot of stuff online.
So you'll be with Empower or you won't be with?
So this is where Empower is going to
Empower
be
is another
deleted.
one.
Empower is going to be deleted.
Okay,
So we're under Benchmark Mortgage.
okay.
Okay. We went with Empower Lending and there's another Empower Lending out there.
Yeah.
Stuff happened and they're like, hey, we're going back to Benchmark. I go, that's cool. I'm actually doing my own thing. I'm still going to be right across the street, still getting Wally's coaching, still going to be completely under their system.
Okay.
But I'm going to be doing things a little bit more my way.
That's
And I'm excited. I'm super pumped.
excited for you.
So thank you. And so that's why I put slash. So
Are you still gonna be in the office?
absolutely. I'll be more in the office too.
Don't move,
Yeah, please, we.
No.
because we
No, no.
kind of, you know, we really enjoyed having Chris and Tip. They had to move out too.
Before Aubrey and.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things where we really got comfortable with, we really enjoyed them. I still do business with them,
Yeah.
but the team that came in afterwards. You know, it wasn't until you guys got in that we actually got some constructive
Oh, yeah.
work through everything.
I love to hear that. So whenever we first came in, they were kind of like, wait, we're doing this again? Like, what again? I'm like, this is all new to me, so I don't know. But yes, no, I'll still be here. I'll be actually in this office, then across the street, getting ready to launch the team, getting back from the wedding, all that fun. I just got married. So this is my first day wearing this ring. It feels weird.
You just got it back.
Yeah, I just got it back today. Yeah, her mom is, she's a teacher and they had a huge teaching thing at the Gaylord, so I got all my stuff back. Awesome. So really what I like to diverge this class into two different things. We're going to talk about clients and then we're also going to be talking about partners. And we're going to talk about how you can create partners through clients, but more importantly, there is a distinction between a client and a partner. So, you know, who are the clients? These are people that we've worked with in the past. These are potential clients that we're in contact with. I would say anybody in your data bank. I would say database, data bank. That's where we make our money. So we have our data bank. I would say these are our clients. And if you have any other interpretations, of course, that's your clients. Now, how do we classify clients? And I can also, Doug, send you this whole PowerPoint too.
All right,
Oh,
thank
we
you.
love that.
That's fantastic.
Yes, sir. How do we classify clients? That's my question that I'm going to lead with. How do you classify? You have your entire data bank. How do you classify your clients?
We have A, B, and C.
Okay.
So the A's are people who are wanting to do something in the next 30 to 60 days.
Mhm.
The B's are kind of 60 to 90-ish.
Okay.
And C's are just out there, 90 plus.
Okay. Nice. And then whenever they close, what do they become?
We're all partners.
Just part of the data bank, right?
They're in the bank.
Yeah, they get thrown in the pool. And what I've noticed is there's different depths and certain people can swim, some people can't, and it all matters. Here's what I mean by that. And I'll dive into that in a second. Let me just kind of get through what we're
To
gonna
me,
talk
they're
about.
always my clients, even
Yes,
after we close,
right,
because I get a lot of repeat clients.
exactly.
So,
And we're gonna talk about how to classify those repeat business. I call them repeat offenders, it's a joke, but my repeat business people that bring me tons of business, I have to give them exclusive. We'll talk about that. Does every client get the same experience after closing? A lot of times the answer is yes. And I think that answer should be no.
it's no.
And it should be no, right? Because there's clients that we're gonna help out and where they're gonna be, there could even be a referral from another agent super far out, or I have somebody who's sending me 10 deals a year. I can't give that experience I'm giving to this exclusive referral partner or client to everyone else, and that's okay. But it's more important that we're distinguishing it and being very, very tactical in our approach.
Sometimes you never want to see those people again.
Some people you're not gonna ever get a referral or review from, or you don't want a review.
You
from
don't
them.
want to work with them again. You don't, you fire them basically. And that's
Right.
okay.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Been doing a lot of that in the last 2
I
years.
know, I have too.
And so how do you get referrals from clients? So we're going to talk about how you get referrals from them. How do we want to get referrals from them? What type of referrals do we want to get from them, right? We don't want everything. We want to get it. Next, we're going to be really going through who are our partners, who makes up our I call them my data bank engine. So it's really what is driving my database? What is driving my business through my partners outside of myself? Because just like everyone else in this room, we only have two hands. So how do I create more hands on my business? Next, very simple, similar to how we talked about classifying. How do you classify your partners? Because that also is going to matter as well. We're going to talk about starters. We're going to talk about backups and building your bench in this class. And then the next one is, does every partner get the same output from you or your team? The answer again should be no. It should be completely different. It should be absolutely biased because this is a business. This is one thing that I love Keller Williams because the coaching and everything here is awesome. And I don't want to offend anybody, but this is going to be a very business oriented class. So the first thing that I wanted to introduce, because this is just something I love just getting my mind going with is client referrals. So I do what's called the roller coaster method. This was taught to me by some of my mentors. And the roller coaster method is being tactical when you actually ask for the referral. So we're going to start at ground one right now, asking clients for referrals. Easiest thing in the world, right? It can be super easy, but how do we do it? When do we do it? Why do we do it, right? Why we have the roller coaster on here, and if anybody recognizes this is that old roller coaster at Six Flags. Yeah. So
That's not there anymore?
I think they redid it. I'm pretty sure, because this was like the old first wooden roller coaster.
I mean, they put in the Texas Giant, and
Yeah.
that one was still there for a while. I don't know if it's still there.
All right.
I've never ridden a roller coaster, so, yeah, so what do we know about?
Copy hasn't settled in yet.
Yeah, you're good. So what do we know about roller coasters? They go up and down. Okay. But I want y'all to think about the roller coaster as a client's emotional feelings throughout a process. Okay. So if I have a roller coaster, and I'm going to make it really easy for conversation purposes, what are the three highest points that a client is over the moon satisfied with you in the real estate process?
After they've closed on their option successfully.
Okay. Say after option.
Yep. After they've gotten their lending approved. Yeah, after option is when you get all your negotiations done and you locked it in.
Mhm.
And then when they get their mortgage approval. Okay,
So we got loan approval.
and then either right at closing or right before closing when everything's moving smoothly.
I think we'll preferably say at closing. when we're
At
signing
closing,
the
yeah.
keys. Okay. And I'll even take yours and say also just contract accepted.
Yeah, that's another good one too.
Okay. We'll say down here some times that are bad is when we're reading an inspection before we start negotiating or anything. Especially first time home buyers. I can tell you, they come to me with y'all's inspections, actually asking me for second opinions. It's not my job. Okay, but I can tell you that the conversation is not, Cole, we got this inspection, right? When we're having conversations with our clients, you don't want every single conversation to be asking for a referral. The books are going to tell you to do that, but at one point, your clients are going to start to tune you out and your genuineness is going to be out the window. I find it really, really important that we capitalize on these. These in your process should always be it should be a system. It should be, I have it in my notes because I have everything on a CRM. I have even my assistant knows if I'm out of the country like how I was, and they get out of option period, you're asking for a referral. It's not necessarily when I do it, right? Y'all, this is y'all's, but if I get a contract accepted, awesome. I hop on the phone with the listing agent, figure out why did you pick me? Why were we important to you? Sweet, awesome. Are you getting these same things that you accepted me for with your lender? I'm already asking referrals from a listing agent. But you really want to capitalize on these emotional highs and make sure that we're not asking for them in the worst times. It sounds very simple, but what I find is when I ask realtors questions about this is when we're asking for referrals and beyond.
Yeah.
They're not asking for referrals throughout the process. And the problem is that just like y'all, we don't get paid until we get to closing. So it's tough to get really energized because we've done this so many times. For them, this is their first and maybe only time, okay? So it's super important that we capture these moments and we slow down. When I'm going through a contract getting accepted and explaining why it got accepted, I'm locking all the doors for everybody today.
Somebody, I don't know if it's the cleaning crew or whatever, somebody locks those doors lately.
I think it's honestly a thing that.
Yeah. We used to lock those doors. This is the question.
No worries, I appreciate
There
you.
we go.
Hey, come have a seat.
All right. So, hey, how you doing, sir?
Good.
How are you guys?
Awesome.
So one thing that is really, really big about the roller coaster method is, what did I say earlier? We only have two hands, right? What do? I have my client concierge member ask for referrals at this point. For y'all, or if it's her or my assistant, Brittany, she's asking for referrals at this point. What would it look like if you were to sit down with your TC and explain to them this model, give them a script and say, for every referral that I get that you pull from doing this, you get X. You're gonna watch your TC just completely light up because nobody's offering stuff like this. But if you say throughout the process, these are the 3 happiest times, for me, there's actually 7 in the loan process because it's a little bit different than real estate, but you know, for 7 times, I'm gonna be asking for referrals. I'm asking 4 of them, my assistant's asking for 3. So I have to split up. And it's great because they're getting the same message, but from different people. It's always great to talk about how good you are, but nobody's better than someone else talking about how good you are.
Right, and when my clients give me a compliment of something, I take advantage right then.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The minute they compliment me, I go, and I can do this for your family and friends too.
Absolutely.
So who do you know that I need to know?
Yeah. Janet, thank you so much for helping us with that closing. And you're going, the best way that you can thank me is allow me to serve your family the way that I served you today. Right. And that's huge. That's great. But I would say,
I do it anytime though, whenever it happens during the transaction.
yeah. And again,
I don't have to be at these
Yeah.
30, it's just, the minute somebody says like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we hired you. I go, yeah, that's why you hired me, and that's why your friends and family should as well.
Yeah.
You know, I take advantage.
And the biggest thing is also like when you've done this for long enough and you've crushed so many deals, you pick up on those cues. Right. You don't necessarily have to be waiting right here at the ride. We could be right here and they're really feeling the same way. You know, for me, I've had it happen all the time. It's really, really key though for TCs and assistants and loan officer assistants to have that system because they don't see this side. It's good to give them a skeleton. They want to go by that, or they're going to start trying to refer you when we're going over bad inspections. Okay. Roller coaster method, we understand? Cool. I can send you an email, this whole PowerPoint.
That would be
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
I just put you on our Facebook page, so like, people get in here.
Oh, perfect. I love it. So before you joined us, we were talking about our data bank and I was talking about how it has to be classified. Great example. And I actually do this with my clients. I do platinum, gold, silver. That's the way that I classify in process, right? These are the people who are buying right now. They deserve all my attention because I'm going to be writing a contract for them in the next 30 days. We need to also strategize our data bank, another word for database I use, same exact way. If I have a client who is giving me 10 referrals a year and they are your best friend, they need to be in the platinum. If I have a client who sends me 5 or more, they're going to be in the gold. If I have a client who sends me 3 or more, they're in the silver. If I have clients who send me 1 referral, they're in the bronze. If you don't send me a referral, you're not on the podium. You're still in my data bank, you still come to all the events, you still get a lot of things. You're not going to get the exclusivity. Some of the things I'm going to touch on here in a minute. But it's super important for people who are really going out of their way to put money in your pocket. And more importantly, putting their image behind your trust in you helping this person out, that they feel that. And you'll see them reciprocate this more and more as you continue that relationship. So if I could first just say, if anything, when you leave here today, is try to have, whether it's A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, gold, silver, bronze, have your data bank and figure out who are the people that, although I may talk to my database 4 times a year, I need to talk to this guy 6, 7. I need to be taking this guy out to dinner, having conversations with him, right? Do you have a question?
No, I was just saying that instead of the platinum, gold, silver, bronze, I have mine in the 200 club, 100, top 100 club. I'm working through a top 50. I'm going to be doing a top 20 and then the top 10. Because I actually have investors that come back and they would obviously be in the top 10.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that always answer their phones, that are always happy to hear from me, that are always telling me we're looking for the next deal. And they have typically been the ones that have thrown me these referrals.
nothing's better than whenever you get that phone call. I got one like, how'd you find me? Person said I had to call you. You're going, man,
I love that.
yeah, they need to feel how I'm feeling about them right now. Right, and that's where most of it gets confused. Say, thanks for that referral. You're almost talking to them over here. They just put money in your pocket. Let them know.
Yep.
It's super important. And it's also important to always cross sell. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want y'all to take like kind of a moment. Think about your business, how it's structured, the way you've done things. And I want you to completely throw that out the window and just follow me for a little bit, okay? Now this is not the end all be all, but again, this guy right here coaches millions of agents a year, and I got to one-on-one sit with him for a total of 6 hours over 6 weeks and really pick his brain. And he helped me do an event that we got over 200 referrals. Okay, we gave out even more from Michael Mayer.
Of communication.
Yeah, he started his own company called Refer Co. He just wanted to make it simple. He literally helps you get people to refer to you. Okay, this book is absolutely amazing and it's told in story form. So even a kid could read this. Okay, it's phenomenal. And I'll let y'all take a picture of this too if you'd like. And yeah, he came to our event last month. So events for clients. Now, whenever we talk about following up with our database, it's great when you do the phone call. Hey, I'm just following up. You're just following up. That sounds weak. That is boring. I want you just following up with me. Why are you calling me? What do we got going on? One of the biggest things that he talked about that is not valued enough is the power of an invitation. Okay. How many times have you been invited to something and you weren't able to go, but you still felt something? You know, oh, I can't go, but he did invite me. I did get an invite. I am important to this person. More importantly, imagine if I didn't get the invite and I saw other people. You see how that inversely makes somebody feel bad. It makes them feel just as good when they get the invite. He talks about the power of the invite in this book. Okay, so we talk about inviting clients to events. And again, a lot of times it's a mass reach, right? We just send out a text message or I got an e-bite or I got a video on a phone. Okay, now when I also said forget about your business, I want y'all to forget about politics because he does reference Trump. I'm not going to get into politics whatsoever in this, but per his book, he talks about the Trump method. And in this is back when he was doing The Apprentice, and he said, okay, so if Trump was to come in and do a sales meeting and you were to get a text message from a random number, what is the percentage that you would go? If you got a piece of mail that said, hey, well, I want you to come, blah, 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 what are the odds that you would go? If you got an email from Trump saying, hey, I'd like you to go, or one of his assistants, it probably doesn't make sense. You get a handwritten letter from Trump saying, I want you to come and I'm going to help pour into you and help you convert your business. That sounds pretty nice. He wrote me a letter. Okay. He calls me and goes, hey, I'm about to do $1 billion deal, but I needed to call you and let you know that I want to see your face on this day at this time so I can help you because you've helped me so much. I'm finding a way to go. If Trump comes right there in that yard on a helicopter and walks up and says, I want you there because you mean so much to me. Honey, get the kids. We're going to all learn about sales tonight. We are all going to this. Okay. And what I've noticed is a lot of realtors and partners of mine, they're blowing up their clients and they're spending so much time. Why don't we make it more about them on the phone call or that in-person meeting, depending on how you do your data bank? And I think that's how it'll decide your approach, whether it is a video text, whether it is a phone call, whether it is, hey, I want to grab coffee and tell you about something I'm going to be doing next month. And I really want you there, but I want to run a couple of things by you. First, I'll go to the house. Why are they? They're not going to say no. They're not going to be too busy for that. Absolutely. So it's super, super important on how we do it. One thing that I want to talk about now that we understand how to invite them is every single event leads to another event. I don't care if it's 4 events a year and that next event isn't for 3 months. Every single time I have a meeting with somebody, my meeting is to get another meeting with the same person. Okay, so it's the exact same approach with my events. So as I'm reaching out to people for the event, and we're following up, and we have we do a 90-day to 120-day runway. Where it's a long ways out. And they're getting blown up from all different angles, but there's always one special piece on me reaching out to them and hearing from Holden on going to that event or what that event will entail. And why it's important for them to go. It is. I need you there. Or why am I doing this? Okay. What's really, really important is when you get done with that event, everybody goes, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was great. Get home safe. Get home safe. Bye, guys. That's it. That's just, that event was cool. It was great. But what's next? At your event, what you're going to do is you're going to announce your next event. You're going to stand up there and say, everybody who is here is a reason for that I have a roof over my head and I was able to pour out and do cool stuff like this because of all of you in here. And I'm so appreciative that y'all are here. I want this to happen again. I'm having another event in 3 months, and I'd love for everybody that's in this room to be there and more. Bring a friend. Bring me a referral so I can help continue doing this for our community because it's by the community for the community. That's the slogan for my team.
Yeah.
But it's really, really important that you have something else you're leading up to because what you're going to notice is you're going to get momentum in these events. You're gonna see the momentum. You're gonna see the referrals really start to come in, and we're gonna talk about how to capture referrals at events here in a second. But does that make sense when you talk about your business plan, having everything lined up for what's next? You don't want to create an event, hope it went well, and then you start getting back in the tool shed and you're having to dust off tools and okay, let's try and get everybody back in here again. No, already have it planned out. If you can plan one event, you can plan a second event right then and there. And then you have 3 more months to come up with the next one. You have so many resources in Keller Williams that there's no reason you can't do that. Okay. So I'd say that would be one of my biggest things is always having that next event. So we talked about applying love, is the best way I'd say it, to different types of people in your data bank. How do you apply different experiences for VIP clients to the same event? Why is it important that you do? Every single event that we have, our top partners are getting some type of exclusive piece. Now, that example, but it's the only one I can think of. You go to a club and you got everybody there, and then you get the big booths and the bottles and the big sparklers and everything. We're not doing that. We're not trying to make people feel lower. But there's certain ways that you can inadvertently go in and make them feel special. Now, here's the ticket that's going to get you a drink. Hey, don't repeat this isn't for everybody, but like I wanted to make sure I helped your family out. Here's this, or here's a special goodie bag that I'm going to give you on the way out. Or hey, can y'all come 30 minutes early so I can have a cocktail hour with all of y'all? They're coming in and they're going, okay, sweet cocktail hour. And then they see everyone who didn't get it and they realize I'm important to this person. They care about me. They need to feel that without you putting down other people. So I think there's so many different ways that you can do it. And I'm always happy to sit down and really map out events, but for the sake of time, do we understand that portion? Perfect. So raffles by referrals. So this is a really big one. What I do is on these events, if I have a partner or a client specifically, this is more client oriented, I always have raffles. And if you have a raffle and a client sent you 3 leads, you walk up to that event, hey, here's your 3 raffle tickets. You just give them to me? No, I'm not just giving them to you. No, that's not the case. You gave me 3 awesome referrals. And this is how I just wanted to show you thanks to that. Keep it up. Sweet. So you're giving them incentive. And it's something that they're not expecting when they walk in. Nothing is better than surprises when it's good. Okay. Bad news, I like upfront surprises. You can surprise me later. It's good. So it's really, really cool whenever you're able to come up to somebody and just give them that extra boom and they go, oh. And again, they don't see everybody else getting raffle tickets. Everybody takes something home. I don't care what it is. You do not let them walk out empty handed. And they're going to grab their phone. They're going to start doing whatever else. I want them engaged the whole way they leave. It is an experience and y'all are leaving with a gift. And that can be whatever you may have it. We're gonna go into gifts and the literally more details of events here in a little bit. And lastly, VIP exclusive events. You should, your top 100 club that you're talking about, Doug, your top 50 club, there should be a top 50 club annual blah. And they should understand why they're there. They should understand that you want them there. You're happy they're there. And here's me giving back to you because you did so much for me in my world. You know, and this is a time where you need to be very vulnerable too. And how much they mean to you. It's not just, hey, I want you to come over here and have a good time. No, you're having a good time because you did something for me. You deserve that. Something our society really lacks today. Showing a little bit of love. Any questions on this portion? Cool. Okay. This is the big one. So we talked about getting clients to give you referrals. We talked about how you can generate a machine by simply just applying a system of events, applying scripts throughout the process to maximize your efficiency on getting referrals throughout a process. And now let's talk about our real engine drivers, our partners. These are the people that send me 2 referrals a week. I have a partner right now that sends me 10 referrals a week. And they get it all. They get whatever you want. On Sunday, I'll come cut your grass, right? Because I love you. One of the biggest things that I want to do before we start diving into this is I'm going to talk about a circle of cash flow. This is something probably very similar to y'all seen with your coaches, unless coaches are here with me today. So I'm too lazy to erase it. Circle of cash flow. Okay, that's actually for Blackboard. I only know that down. Okay. I'm really gonna do this.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I think I have flag.
You got one?
I gotta read it.
Dude, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate you saving the day. I got food coming too.
Denton tends to put them in his pocket and walks out.
Yeah,
He stole off.
it's like the nerd that has them all stacked up.
Yeah. Well, he just finds them in his pocket when they do laundry. Huh? Like.
Everything comes out like a different color.
Pens, Denton. Where are all my pens? There's. Oh,
That's you.
I think I put it in the pocket.
So I'm gonna give you the first one. So I'm gonna call this, I call it a circle of cash flow, okay? And there's different positions in your business that are gonna have to generate referrals so you can go out and do what you're supposed to be doing and have that money coming in. The first one I'm gonna give you for free. Financial advisor. Who else in your world that can also add value to your clients can be a great way to add value to the client and also give them referrals? What's another position? CPA, all right.
Sure.
Perfect. Perfect. So we help them play offense. I can help them play offense. I can help them play defense. Okay. What happens when people don't like each other after being married for a while? What do? Stop talking. Divorce attorneys. Divorce attorneys. That's going to be a huge one. Multiple deals out of that one. What else? I'll give you a hint. What else once a year do you have to renew that helps you out with your home?
Insurance.
Insurance, okay. Every single transaction you do will require by the state of Texas for them to have insurance. Perfect. What else?
I work with a lot of seniors, so having resources, companies that'll pack them up, move them and unpack them.
So we need to like a relocation service.
Yeah.
Okay. One more. I give you a hint. He's standing right in front of you. Gosh.
Oh, man, that don't love me at all.
This is great. Wow, we have a circle of cash flow. Good job, guys. We're good. We can go home now. So this is really, really cool because you now have a job. Your job is to get these people referrals. Before we talk about how to get referrals from them, giving them referrals, I really want to talk about starters, bench players. People that are in the circle that have that name, they are your starters. Appreciate it, Garrett. That's Chick-fil-A comment. So before I actually say anything, this is Garrett Frieda. He is, I can do it. As part of our client concierge team, Garrett helps put these clients back on our calendars to have annual mortgage reviews that I'll go over with you on a little bit. And really, this is a way for us to have somebody reach out, answer any questions. And guess, hey, Garrett, what do you do on the call when you're setting up appointments too? Boom.
Insurance and.
Hey, my lender has some of the top partners here in the county, and he's actually giving out free consultations for past clients. And you spend 5 minutes of your time to make sure that your financial picture is up to your standards. And I'm not even on the phone. Gary gets you connected with those people. We're talking what's going on. Easy. So we're going to talk about starters, bench players. So you have your starter. It's not like that. So how do we figure out who our starters and who our bench players are?
Neural network or even something.
This is from our partner. So your insurance guy, your lender.
Okay.
We have to audit them. We have to figure out who do we want to work with. And I'm really going top to bottom on this whole kid.
I would say your first priority is going to be lender, partnership with lender.
Mhm.
And then if you were using a relocation service, I'd probably say that that's the second one.
Mhm.
And then I'm actually getting some info from financial advisors. I would say that would be the third,
Yeah.
maybe tied with CPA.
Yeah. So let me take a step back. I think we're getting a little bit confused. Each one of these requires a starter.
Oh,
Each
okay.
one of
I
these
thought
has
you
a
wanted
bench.
me to put those in
No.
order.
I see where your brain's going. Not bad, but no. For example, I have one insurance starter. Who's my insurance starter? Garrett. Garrett, who's my insurance starter? Allegheny. Let's go. See, love this. I just want to see if you know it. Yeah, he's a beast.
Good job, Garrett.
He's a beast. I'm telling you, literally would not be where I'm at without this guy. I appreciate that. Of course, buddy, let him in. All right.
So you're talking about go-tos. This is my primary
This is my
go-to.
primary go-to.
This is my B, C, and D.
Man. Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're like, what's the pen? I'm like, I don't know. It's pen.
you're like, all right. Y'all have a good day, got you.
Here.
So. When it comes to starters and it comes to any of my partners, I need to make sure they align with myself. This is probably one of my favorite books. And this is actually, I think, if you were to ask me if I had one book that got me where I'm at today, it would be this one.
What is that book?
This book is called High Trust Selling by Todd Langdon. I graduated from 2 of his academies and graduated from the same one twice, so technically 3. And this is just gold in my hands. What this book shows you how to do is how to figure out who you need to have in your life and also how to get them on your team. Because it's not hard figuring out who's the best. I go online and I can look up who's the best 3-point shooter. Okay, Steph Curry. Now, how hard is it for me to get Steph Curry in a room? This book helps you do that. Okay, so this book is really, really huge, and they do what's called the high trust interview. I did this with all of my partners.
Oh, look, Dominic's on YouTube talking about the same thing.
High trust is,
I trust selling.
so he actually graduated his academies with me, so we should have started our own.
I'm
team
actually seeing if the book's online.
Oh, it is.
Read for free.
Yeah, it is. So, or you can do the audiobook, it's pretty good. I think I like personal books, I'm no guy, but this book, essentially, all I want y'all to think about on this is a high trust interview comprises of me understanding where you are in your business, figuring out what holes are in your business, how can I add value, and how can my referrals add value to your world? Okay, this is not for you to go up and do a Shark Tank pitch, and then you see if they want to invest. I sit down with each one of my partners and I figure out what are we doing here, what are we doing there, what are we doing here. Okay, what are you gonna try next? If I win. And follow up with you and see if you did that. If not, maybe you'll start listening to me, maybe we can work together and start crushing it, get some referrals. This is just a book to help get your starters in the game. Who are your starters? Starters are people that if you call me on a Sunday at 9 p.m., I will answer the phone. If I don't like you, I want to hang out with you on a Saturday, I'm not gonna answer your phone call, and that's okay, you're on my bench. The biggest thing that you have to have for a bench is what happens with clients every once in a while. This guy sucks. Doug, that lender gave me a freaking 9% rate. I thought we were friends. I thought I was in the top 50. No. That's totally fine. And there's times that like people fail. I'm sure there's people who probably have used other agents thinking that y'all were the problem, right? And maybe y'all weren't. But it's important to have a bench built up for two reasons. One, to immediately assist that client with someone else. And two, if you get enough complaints about it, I have this guy who's been waiting for this. And you know what this creates? Exclusivity to this position, which makes you more valuable. Follow me? So it's really, really important to have your bench set up. And this does not mean, hey, bench players still put on the clothes. They still get suited up. They still practice. So this doesn't mean I find 3 cool people and I just buzz off for a while, right? But more importantly, this guy's getting everything. I might even give a couple bonuses to these ones, but I need this guy to be valued. The only way for him to be valued is to feel valuable. So I think it's really, really important that you find out people for all walks, even if it's roofers, right? You don't have to be best friends with those guys. They're probably not gonna give you referrals, but you got to know a guy. One thing that I want to point out with this are these 2 positions, just to be a little bit more specific. Financial advisors don't always work with everybody. They have minimums, some of them $500,000. A lot of our clients, especially in today's market, I'll say the stats, they don't get $500,000 liquidated. Find financial advisors that can actually fit their goals. I have 2 CPAs. One is Vince Porter. He's came in and taught some classes here. He helps me out my self-employed. I have a W-2 guy, completely different. So it's important to also be able to have, you don't have to be everything. But you want to have the Swiss Army knife. It still has 8 awesome tools. It doesn't have 100, but it has the 8 most likely tools you're going to use. That's how you're going to find them. Use that book, use that high trust interview, and also take all your partners right now and go read high trust interview. Hey, I feel like, I just want to apologize. I think that I have not been giving you enough value in our relationship that I promised on day 1. Can you and I get together and we have dinner or we have a coffee, or I can even come in the office and bring a clipboard and I figure out what's going on in your world and where I can help. Silent, just let them talk. Any questions around the circle of cash flow or how to build bench players and starters?
I just know with my financial advisor, I've asked them to be able to be on some of my marketing and things like that, and they have very strict rules
100%.
of what they can or how they can market themselves and how they can't. So I've actually never gotten in on any of my marketing pieces.
What are different ways that you could get him in the game now?
Well, I refer people to
Or you're saying get him in the game for you?
him in the game. Well, he has sent me a couple people actually.
Okay.
And I've sent people to him because he kind of does a very interesting approach to retirement. I just can't put him on paper as easily as I could maybe a roofer or AC guy or something like that. So I've got to find out better ways to utilize.
Can I tell you our secret sauce?
Yeah.
I don't mind telling anybody. If they want to try it and it's my business, I bring it on. Every single one of my financial advisors, whenever they have a client that comes in, they get their most recent mortgage statement. They have to get a bunch of docs. First of all, if you want to work with a financial advisor and you meet them, you agree to work with them, and then they ask you to upload all of these freaking documents. Show me the money. They get that mortgage statement and they say, hey, I'm just going to have one of my mortgage specialists just take a look at this for you. I send them a video.
Personal statement or?
I get their financial advisor, Doug, comes in, wants to work with Kyle Gabhart. Kyle Gabhart calls me and says, hey, here's a mortgage statement. And hello, hey Shabina, hey Scott.
What's up, man?
Come on in.
Better make the net, right?
That's right. No, I'm so happy that y'all are here. Seriously, I love y'all. So, financial advisor, Doug wants to work with him. Doug gets a doc request from financial advisor. One of those is gonna be his most recent mortgage statement. I'm gonna take a look at that. And we're gonna see about what's going on, how much equity do you have? What can you utilize it for? And then I go back to them and I say, they have X amount of equity that they can use. If they wanted to do that, here would be the payment. Financial advisor goes, holy crap. They have super low interest, but I have this huge investment that might be able to change their world. They don't have the capital for it right now, but I can help them by getting them to work with Colton. And now I have $250,000 that I can help increase their net worth by year 10. Follow me? So that's where a value guide comes in. Where you could come into the play is any person that also has a financial advisor CPA that I'm working with, I call them, hey, it's Colin Chase. You don't know me and I'm not trying to sell you. I'm actually working with one of your clients. I just wanted to make sure that you and I are making sure that we're aligned with their goals. You ask any financial advisor or CPA how many times they get that phone call, less than this many, not more than one hand. Game changer. They feel invested. People get scared to hide from financial advisors and CPAs because they think they're going to deter you from the path. In reality, this is someone's life and everybody understands their different aspects, and let's figure out how we help them out the best way possible. That's how you can really get yourself back in the game. Hey, every single client that you get comes in and they have that, what if I did a complimentary equity checkup? You just figured out how much equity we have in the property or what it's worth, because you don't see their conversation of them going, man, what if I changed my house? That would change my financial picture. Well, I just talked to Jana 2 days ago and she said X, Y, and Z. That can help us both out. And your name is now in their yard. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, any other questions on the circle cash flow or any scenarios? Always open to those. Okay. High trust interview, perfect. Oh, did not hit on this. This is huge right here, guys. This is where the big ballers do this. And I just figured out how to do it. So I'm like, why does everybody know this guy? You ever go to a restaurant with somebody who's really cool? Not me, someone who's like really cool, right? They got money. They go in and everybody, oh, hey, Mr. So-and-so. Hey, oh, how's the kids? Who the heck is this guy? Michael Mayer talks about the cheat code. How do you play home field advantage on a neutral ground? What you do is you find a place around here and you make that your spot for every single appointment. I meet with 4 clients in person in a day. They're all going to almost be back to back. I want them seeing that person leaving, seeing that I was with another person, seeing them come up and see the waiter come up and call them, hey man, how's the wedding, man? That's awesome. Oh, who is this? Oh, sweet, awesome. Who is this person? I'm at a restaurant in Plano. Okay, you don't own the place, but you're getting a special treatment. Watch next time you go out with the big ballers and you figure out why everybody knows. It's not because they're giving the waitress $5,000 every single time they come. You just got to learn how to become a repeat offender, a repeat customer at the same place, get that treatment, find your guy, and also find out who the best waiter or waitress is. And you have them put in the notes that if I call you for an appointment, which I'm going to be coming back next week to eat here, I want that person waiting on me. Build a relationship. I know 5 or 6 waiters that my dad is so close with, and he's so old school, and that's all he cares about is the experience. The food could be crap, but if he gets told, Mr. James, so that's all he cares about. Okay, so that's how you play home field advantage on neutral ground. Now that we have these partners, we talked about having starters and backups. How do we know if someone's a starter or a backup in football, basketball? We watch film, we look at points, stats. You want to be a starter, dude. You got 2 points a game. This is the NBA. You don't do that. Okay. Me and Scott throw up 10 points. Somewhere. So what we do is I have accountability meetings, either quarterly or biannually. I do bring the stats on how many referrals they gave out, how many they gave me, and I even show them most likely my commission. I will show them how much I made off that. Because also I have an idea on how much they're making. I want to see how much money I'm putting in your pocket, how much money I'm putting in my pocket. They don't necessarily have to be equal, by the way. So it's okay if you refer out a little bit more, they refer a little bit to you. That's why these meetings are fairly spread out, so you have a good amount of data to go from. And more importantly, you keep notes of these meetings. Super simple. You have, and these are computers now. You literally just have a computer, a file for each one of your referral partners. I have a meeting this day, here are my notes. Awesome. So when we were talking back in January, your problem was listings, Jana. And for us to help you out with listings, we helped you out with this. I see the referrals are working both ways and we're doing great. And I'd love to continue working with you, but I don't think that we're crushing this hard enough. What could we be doing as a team? Okay, so these meetings are super important both for accountability, game planning, and road mapping for roadblocks as well, for things that are not working. Hey, quit sending me clients that have crappy credit and telling them that I'm gonna close them. I can help them, but don't tell them Colton's gonna go to the genie bottle and get you a pre-approval letter, okay? Because you're setting me up for failure. Keep the referrals up. Change the language, right? I just had a meeting with one of my teams. We're changing the language on a couple things to help out on the front end so I can help them get answers faster. Lastly, when we're talking about events, events, it's money, it's expensive. I don't want to pay for that. I don't blame you. I haven't had an event where I've spent more, my personal events, more than $200. So more money here with y'all, if anything. And with that, I always make sure that my starters are invited to all the events as a sponsor. I put them on the highest pedestal. I put Garrett on a pedestal when he walked in here. I do the same thing for my sponsors times 10 when they come to these events. They get a full list of everybody that was there. In our invitations, I'm going to ask a question. Have you had your insurance checked in the last 12 months? Have you had it shopped around? Sweet. I get him that list so I can condense his day as well. Okay. Aside from that, I'm also going to let him go up for 2 or 3 minutes, very similar to what you see here at Keller Williams. They do it great. I'm going to give you a platform to speak on in front of these people. Okay. And what's going to be crazy is a lot of people go, oh, sweet. I just got a phone call and there's already an event set up and I can be a primary sponsor. I got to write you a check and everything's going to be done for me. And you're going to send me the list of everybody after. Absolutely. Right. So if a starter says no to sponsoring an event, you have to tell them that's okay. I'm going to invite one of my bench players. We talked about who's starters. You have 3 bench players. Starter says, hey man, I'm out of the country. I'm sorry, man. I got to give value to my clients today, man. I got to get someone else in here. You're still my starter, still my guy. But I have someone else who's going to come in and I just want to transparently let you know that. They might actually end up coming to sponsor the event because they're scared to lose their position as your starter. Okay. But really, it's just super important to make sure that these events are sponsored. They're good sponsors that are actually going to, again, add value to your clients and refer you business later on. Any questions on generic partner referrals? Cool. I got 2 more things I'm going to go over with y'all, and then I want to literally open up the floor. I'm going to kind of go through these books real briefly, but 2 extra pieces that I don't see done enough is following up in this co-marketing thing that's just not happening out there. So first I'm going to start off with this one. Every single year, Garrett reaches out. I had 2 this morning, I have 2 this afternoon. I have an annual mortgage review where I have the closing disclosure from when they closed. I have them hooked up with HomeBot so I can see where they're at with their mortgages, their appreciation, I have those conversations. And I have a conversation to figure out how can I add value in this person's life. I think I'm calling to refinance, and I tell them that's not what I'm trying to do. Right? Suck. Why would I refi you? Make any sense? But what I can do is I can sit here and we can go through one piece at a time. Looking at your mortgage payment is made up of 4 things. P&I, your mortgage insurance, we need to get that dropped off so I can maybe help you there. Your taxes and your insurance. Let's talk about taxes and insurance. Who you shop around with? Are you for sure? So I just, as the person who helped you get into $500,000 in debt, I think it's fair that I can ask the question, are you for sure that this is the insurance agent that's giving you that same coverage in the best review? No? Okay, let me get you connected. He gave out 2 insurance referrals to my guy this week. And my insurance guy's calling me trying to take me out to golf. I don't want to golf. You do a business, let's go. Okay. Secondly, I go through taxes, I go through property taxes. I'm not a real estate agent, guys. I don't know this stuff. Protesting taxes. How do you protest it? You know, hook them with propertytax.ai. That's what I do. Same resources y'all use, but it's really just making sure that, okay, Talk to me about, we go through the financial advisor, who's helping you play offense? Because when you talk to me, you were buying this house to build generational wealth. And your goal was to retire by 60. How are you playing offense and who's helping you play offense? I'm on Robin Hood right now. Okay. Maybe, would you be open to having a 10-minute conversation with somebody who's going to be able to help you get from A to B the most efficient way? Or you find out in that phone call that you're just the smartest man in the world with investments. Absolutely. Sweet. Now that I helped you out with offense, let's talk about defense. Who are you working with in your world to help you every single year when you file those taxes, you get the biggest return possible? Legally. Right. Help them get that referral. My job is to refer out as much business as possible in that phone call. My goal is to refer out to all of my circle. Tell me about this, tell me about that. And by the end of the call, they just go, thank you so much. Awesome. The best way that you can thank me is allowing me to serve your friends and family the way that I was able to serve you.
What is that website that you said, propertytax.ai?
Propertytax.ai. Y'all had Jim Johnson come in here. I sat through his property tax class. It was riveting. I was on the edge of my seat. Just kidding, that's very important.
Propertytax.ai.
I would just ask at the front who helped. It was Jim Goodrich.
I don't think it's a working.
I don't know if that's what the website's called, full transparency, but I can get you his info. He taught the class here, and Jim and me were emailing back and forth. He's actually helping me out with my property personally.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was super easy. And again, I'm not the one doing all the work. I'm just getting them connected. What I was telling them, and I'll just briefly add, was I was talking about I have an annual mortgage review where I go through not only just mortgage, what makes up your mortgage, each one of those pieces, how we're saving. How are we playing offense? How are we playing defense? If you get hit by a bus today, how is your family gonna live? Dude, you do mortgage. What the heck are you talking to me about that? I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
Just want to help you out. That's what I'm here. So that's one of the biggest things when I say extra referrals. This is just kind of my last two tidbits. This right here in y'all's world is, if I was a realtor, I'd be a crackhead. You'd see me on everything. Why? Because I feel like realtors in 2022, and I mean this with all due respect, had to really evaluate their business whenever the market turned. I know it because I saw it in here. Why? Because the classes were full back then, because everybody's like, what do we do? And now what I'm seeing is great momentum with those systems. People are really implementing it. I'm seeing more people on social media than I'd like to. I get home from work and I still see all of you 24/7. Scott, I see your videos on Instagram every single time. What can 300K get me in Dallas? What can you know what I'm saying? Like, I know all your stuff.
I gotta change it up though.
No, you're good. Let's talk about how you can change it up. Get other experts in there. Get these other financial, what do we talk about, the circle of cash flow? Get them in. Hey, can I come get you in here and you just tell me about how, if I just wanted to invest, what's the best way I should do it? And then I want to help promote you out there. And if you could just share some of my content as well. One of the best things that I found is people are also faking success. It's so easy. What I mean by that is people are making little, and this is also the way you do it. So don't get this wrong.
Right.
People are making little podcast booths in their home. They're getting all the right equipment. You look at it and you go, dang, that dude must be official. What you don't see on the other side is that guy's maybe been in the industry 6 months and he has some cool cameras and knows how to edit. Who cares? Look at part. Take it till you make it. Secondly, everyone comes up to me with the same thing, and I apologize if this is someone in here, but everyone comes up to me and they go, Colton, I want my own channel. I want my own podcast. I want my own brand to be behind something. But I never see it come to fruition without them just doing stuff by themselves.
You actually have to play the role to get far.
Secondly, you need an audience, and you don't need viewers. I mean by an audience is you need to be on a panel. You need to be in front of other people having these podcasts. If you look at the #1 podcaster in the world is Joe Rogan. Okay, he just got paid from Spotify $100 million for them to go, hey, you know how you click upload? Can you just do that just to our website? I'll give you $100 million. He doesn't go on there and do a single show by himself. There is not one episode you can find since I think it's like 2017 where he had an episode about him. It's the Joe Rogan Experience number 5254 - someone else's name. You look at some of the top people in the world, they are able to get in rooms and spotlight other professionals. Speaking of Dominic, I was with Dominic this weekend at Cars and Coffee, and he brought me his friend Christian Dyer, who plays professional rugby, but he also has a podcast. The reason I know he has a podcast is because I watched a little bit of MMA and I saw Josh Emmett was on his podcast. And I'm like, dude, how did you get Josh Emmett? I'm sitting there and I'm like looking at this guy and he's telling me how easy it was. And I'm like, I thought you were this grand giant dude, because I see you talking with all these giant people about big things that are affecting people in the world. I'm assuming you're the guy. Let's talk to him about him. He's amazing. He's the awesome. I don't make someone talking bad about this guy, but I expected it to be, the world that he had to figure out before he got there. And it's not the case. For example, I'm going to be doing content with Wally on there. I'm going to be doing content with business owners on here. And this isn't, I go to a business and I post their business and I give them some free advertisement. I sit down with the owner and go, why did you open up this place? Why is it important that you're here in this community? And then what's going to be crazy is you're going to find yourself on all these other podcasts to a point where you can start hosting people on yours. You start working yourself in those circles. Who as a business owner is going to say no to going on a podcast and talking about their business for free? I don't know. I would say yes, if y'all are asking. So for me, it's super, super important because, again, podcasts, even down to clips. And this is where it's crazy with social media now, is people just post clips. That we're so ADHD that we can't watch a full podcast. Now we just watch the clip that has all the meat into it, but it takes one of those to go viral.
It's like 1 minute zingers.
And they go viral. And so, I mean, I had one that I posted last week and it was like the most boring thing in the world. I said, let's do Mortgage Mythbusters. 36,000 views in like 2 hours. And I was like, oh, wow. What's the next myth? Right? It takes you doing that. And more importantly, like for example, one of my biggest days of referrals that I got like 17 referrals in an hour was I went on my dad's radio show. Now, that is something that I had total exclusive access to, and I'm going to use it all day long. But it gave me a platform that he had to build. I got to walk up and just talk and add some value. Okay. So the best way for you to build that is having other people who are credible. And what you'll notice is if you go on and you crush someone else's stuff, they're going to post you all day long. Oh, I just did this with this person. Oh yeah, I know them. I had them on my podcast. What's your podcast? What? Yeah, that person on? You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that y'all are also in an environment where I think, and rightfully so, we're all business owners, is that we're selfish. Right? I don't want to maybe bring on this realtor because then they're just going to go to him.
Right, that's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Who do I not bring on?
Exactly. But at the same time, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to bring Wally in on mine. I just told y'all tomorrow I'm launching the Chase team. It doesn't have Wally on there. I'm bringing Wally on all day. So who's Wally? It's a bad A dude. He's awesome. He's huge. And I'm in the same room with him and he sat down and talked to me, which says something hopefully about me a little bit. Have that same attitude and don't have I need to be in this environment. I need to make sure the conversation's centered around this. Go out there and just get your face on as many screens as possible. Because then you get to a point where your face is so much, when they get that phone call, there's some type of dopamine. This person who is very special to all those people is calling me right now. I know that sounds super silly, but it is true. When you have someone very special in your world, you see their name pop up on your phone, or even somebody that's exclusive, I'm picking up the phone. If Wally calls me, I'm answering that phone call. If Joe calls y'all, probably going to pick up the phone. Joe, why are you calling me? Right? If Den's calling me, if Gary Keller is calling me, I am like, holy crap. I got to jump and get this out of my system before I answer because I'm not going to be able to even talk, right? Create that feeling for your clients. So those are my two little extra bonus referrals for y'all now. The last thing I want to do is just kind of go over a couple of books that I've read. Tell you why I liked them. You can buy them, burn them, whatever.
I've already ordered 2 of them on Amazon to be here.
To put in perspective, I need to read this. Don't know who Dave Ramsey is.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a cool guy. Yeah. if you want to win in business, this book will show you how. So use his words, not mine. This book, 7 Levels of Communication, absolutely amazing. It's, again, it's story form, a child could read it and understand it. This helped the guy transform his business. And it also gave me the confidence when I was young. I'm still young, but when I
You're
first,
married.
yeah, I had a guy tell me I looked 14 the other day, so I grew this out. I was like, he goes, he handed me his business card. He goes, man, you look 14. And I was like, not even 15, like, can't even get a permit. All right, 7 Levels of Communication, Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer.
Yep.
And I'm telling y'all, if you find a way into being able to be into his coaching, he simplifies your world so fast. And also, one thing he told me is don't make your event names boring.
What's the name of?
7 Levels of Communication.
Oh.
And he really goes through a pyramid of all the different levels of communication, which ones are important for what, what's the most efficient. So you're not just throwing stuff at a wall hoping it sticks, right? One of the favorite things I told him, I was like, hey, I want to do an event, mortgages and margaritas. And he goes, I would never go to that. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, he goes, just call it margaritas. Margaritas with Empower Lending. Watch how many people show up. I needed another machine. It was amazing. And so for me, it's like it's small things like that I don't think about. I'm thinking, what would sound, that's why what I name this class, more referrals for less. Hopefully people want to come to that, right? I'll help you get referrals for less. Okay, the second one is going to be high trust selling. Again, Todd Duncan is amazing. His books are awesome. He has released about 5 or 6 different books of those academies. But if I could pitch you anything from him, it would be this book specifically, because it's just going to show you how to go super deep in relationships and how to, more importantly, go deep fast. First meeting. I'm in your world. I know everything I need to know about you. I know how I'm going to help you. You know how I'm going to help you. And we'll talk about that in our next meeting, which I'm going to set because that's why I'm here. So I'm just jazzed up about this class.
I already ordered those just now,
Second one,
coming tomorrow.
these 2 books. So I'm a super young guy, and before I even bought a house, I had everybody telling me, wow, you really know everything about houses for somebody who hasn't bought a house. True, never even what coverage any of my homeowners insurance. I don't know any of that. So I just took some time and just tried to learn some general finance literacy that they don't teach you in school. One of these was The Millionaire Next Door. This shows you how you can make $30,000 a year and retire a millionaire. Very, very simple. It also shows you all the statistics on how much people with money really don't care about certain things that we here in America have to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
They put the math in front of you, but there's really no excuse. If you look at everything I'm wearing right now as a gift, this is Wally's old shirt. Okay. Because I need to make $1 million one day. I told her, hopefully I come up with my end of the story. So Millionaire Next Door, great book. Great advice to your clients too. That's the reason why I have that book up here. Secondly, if you don't know anything about real estate investing, you are just literally wasting your time. You're not wasting your time. You're just saying, I don't like money personally. Because whenever I talk to clients about mortgages, nobody really is excited until I start talking about, you ever thought about turning that property into a rental and becoming a real estate investor? Oh my gosh, that sounds so sexy. I'm an accountant, but I could also be a real estate investor. No, you are. How do we expand on that? Right? You also got to know about real estate investing. This book is basic 101s, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I've listened to this 3 times. You can put it on 1.75 speed and get done within 6 hours. So this book right here just showed me very, very simple things where when I'm talking to a client, I don't feel like they're invested and everyone's invested as I think you should be when you're spending $1 million. I start talking about stuff like this and just seeing what they think about it. And what's crazy is they're like, well, what would you do? Oh, I'm the expert again. That's cool. Yeah, no, I'll tell you all about it. And also who's helping you buy that property? Sweet, who's helping insure it? And whenever we're done with this, who's going to help you play offense? Who's going to help you play defense?
And you just gave me a really good idea. I had a couple about a month and a half ago that said that they were interested in getting into investing since they do have investors, but yeah, the financial situation kind of quieted down because they were already a past client. I'm going to actually send that book from Amazon.
I was just about
to say, hey, you spoke about this a month and a half ago. I'm going to be here when you're ready, but in the meantime, start doing your homework.
Yeah, say, I know this book, but for me, again, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, how can I make sure that I left something for you to have? No, realtors are not doing that. Realtors are going, what property do you want to see? What time are you available? Will you sign my buyer's rep? See you there. No, you're gonna lose. If you're doing this out here and you do everything that I talked about for the next 3 years, you would smoke the person that you are today. You would smoke them.
What's the name of this?
This book is the Burn Method.
Who's the author? David Green?
By.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course. So. Before one more thing, what'd y'all think about the class? 1 to 10, and be as brutally honest as possible.
I would say it's a solid 8.
Okay.
You did go through a couple of things that I already had in prior classes. However, I would say what you were able to do was kind of walk me through how I can use that well beyond the original intention. So the whole thing of, okay, so I did an event. I invited my co-partners. Kind of flopped. I only had like 12 people on board. I realized that if I would have, like, let's say, sent out video messages that were very personalized to certain people, telling them how important it is for them to come because I really wanted to see them again, or it was really important that they showed up. That would have been my first, change that I would have done. I would have also co-branded with other trades, but then also let them speak and kind of give them their moment 30 seconds beforehand and give them more value.
Yeah.
Because another mistake that I made was, yes, I had partners that helped me pay for it. But when I asked them to help me with another event, they're like, we didn't really get anything out of the last one.
Yeah.
And it stung.
Yeah.
It really hurt. That they were ready to back me, but they didn't really want to go through the time to be able to really back me and support me.
Yeah. So absolutely. Now I said more referrals for less. I think that if you were to try to do everything I'm doing without these systems, it would be doing it for way more, but you still have to put the event together. That's the one thing that he told me that you can't really get around. And also you don't want to get around it to where you have other people doing it because then you're not as valuable. But if you can create a platform, put yourself and all these other people on it, that'd be huge. And one thing that I don't want you to forget about, and he talks about it in the book, whichever one it is, 7 levels, wherever it is.
7 levels at the bottom of your stack.
Oh, there it is. We talked about the power of the invite. So again, I'll tell you how powerful it is. You're stuck. Nice. Perfect. Power of the invite is huge. I'll tell you, I just got married. I got married in Santorini, Greece, and 95, 97, 99% of my family wasn't able to go. Every single person that wasn't able to go called me. Hey, buddy, I love you so much. I'm like, it hurts that I can't be there. But I want you to know, for the fact that it's such a small audience, we have 44 people.
That's a good turnout for overseas at San Marino.
Very much so. I just appreciate that you thought of me to come. I sat there and I was like, so then my wife, every single time, what are you thinking about? I'm ADHD. We were literally on Lake Como our last night. I'm like, looking off. She's like, you're thinking about work. And I'm like, And I thought about, why don't I have people say the same thing when I invite them to an event? They just don't show up. They don't RSVP. I'm not putting it up in the invitation. I sent them a save the day well before. I'm talking to them between this event, referencing the event. They see it online. They see everyone else liking it. I got like freaking 600 likes on that photo I posted of her kissing me. Let's go. It doesn't get her kissing me more now. But for me,
It's a business thing. You gotta do it.
Exactly. So for me, it's always the powers in the invite, but the invite has to be powerful. Right. And then also just kind of a small tad bit, my ADHD mind's going crazy. This book even showed me how to write letters. It showed me you need to use blue ink. You need to write from a half cursive that starts from the bottom left and goes up to the right. Small little things like that I never thought about, but I'm like, cool, now I'm being a little bit more purposeful, more tactical in my business by utilizing this guy's stuff. Not my ideas. Not up here saying I'm inviting. Well, it's just some cool books that I read. What else? Any other feedback or any other questions or scenarios?
What do you do in that mortgage review?
Okay,
I
so,
were to reference somebody, hey, go talk to Colton for a mortgage review, they're gonna say, well, what's that?
yeah, so I use the term mortgage efficiency checkup. Mortgage review sounds boring. Efficiency sounds kind of cool and also kind of puts it in perspective. How efficient is my mortgage now? Just to be very clear, you can have a 2.99% interest rate for your mortgage isn't efficient. Your mortgage is a living, breathing document. It's actually a debt consolidation tool as well, right? So there's 100 different ways, but on this phone call, what I would do is I would get their most recent mortgage statement. I'd hop on a phone call with them, and the first thing I do is I diverge right into that mortgage, see every little aspect of it. Are we happy? Do you know that this is going on? Again, within a mortgage is still taxes and insurance, which I will diverge that. And then from there, I'm just gonna have a few questions asking about why we picked this mortgage, because that's gonna let me know where your mindset was at with closing, or if your loan officer just gave you a freaking loan. Or was there a purpose behind that? Okay, awesome, talk to me about that. Because I need to make sure, and this is what we saw in 2020, the world flips upside down that fast. But your mortgage is a 30-year fixed note. How is your mortgage and how is your debt maneuvering through your life as your life changes? So that's where my mortgage efficiency really comes into play. And I talk about equity. What does the equity mean to them? How could it be helpful? And don't get me wrong. Again, I told them at the very beginning, this is not a phone call to refinance you. I don't have the energy to try and convince you a 7% is better than a 3%. But if I look and I see and everything points towards north that we need to do something about it, I'll help provide you the best strategy possible. But you'll also leave this conversation knowing exactly where you stand, which I think is very important when we're talking about our biggest purchase of our life. So that was the mortgage efficiency checkup in a nutshell. But if you also, I have clients who say, hey, I got some teams here that they have their own insurance guy, and like, this is my insurance guy. Don't even try to use your other person. Perfect, sweet. I have them on my database. So whenever I have that past client come, I also have that insurance guy. And I let them know, hey, you know, the guy we closed on, I just did my annual mortgage, and I sent a guy a referral on your behalf. I mean, on your behalf. I put you on the pedestal. I don't need to be the winner. Just want to do the deals.
Yeah, that was my thing, like now the mortgage is higher, so more, a lot of the people already have a lower mortgage, because when they talk about mortgage, even some people, they don't want to sell their, I have been in this 80%, I don't want to even sell now. So is there any way they can, if you guys buy and take that interest rate to new home or something?
Yeah, so I guess,
Because
I'll
that's,
just
you know, that my investors are telling me.
yeah, so I'm not gonna tell you how to lower. I'm not gonna try to, that's a rate term refi. What I'll do is I'll show you a scenario where that works. I'm not saying everybody fits into this box, but it will tell me there's no way that you can help me with my mortgage. Help you with your mortgage. What does help you with your mortgage? Gonna help me with my house?
Well, it's gonna be mean different to each person.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to figure out what that means to them. So if I have a person, I'm just losing it. This is why we're losing mortgage. Okay. Right now, why is it a good time to buy?
That's good time.
Why right now in comparison to when rates drop down? We give you all later.
Well, right now, if you were wanting to go for a deal where you didn't have to pay that much, but then also could do some light rehabs to get back to A+, now's the time to do it.
Okay.
Don't want to go into the turnkey where everything's finished, because then you're going to be paying through the nose. But I would probably say the sad homes, there are more of them and they're staying on the market.
And also it's like, prices went down a little bit. So, you know, especially the cash buyer is so interesting. Because it's dipped a little bit, it's like, you know, the price of the houses.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense. The reason I'm asking all that is now we're gonna talk, we're gonna come right back to that. We have a $500,000 home. I'm doing a mortgage business checkout for Jana. And this person has a $250,000 loan still on the property. Okay, that means they have $250,000 in equity. Okay. Rough numbers, I can't use more than 400,000. Use the 80% rule. So what that means is, that's why I have 150K. and accessible. We have 150K available.
What does that mean?
So, I mean, if you walk through it. I have a $500,000 home.
Mhm.
At any point in time when you want to access equity in your property, you can only access up to 80% on a primary home.
Oh, because the rest of us are.
You can,
It's rural.
it's
Okay.
rural, yeah. You have a $250,000 loan still on this $500,000 property. That means you have $250,000 in equity, so you have $250,000. The max amount that you can pull out is 400, okay? That's 100,000 less than 500, so I have to take $100,000 out of the equity. You have $150,000 in available equity. Okay,
I see.
now, but you have this is transparently my rate right now, 2.99, 30-year fix.
Mhm.
How are you gonna beat that loan, man? Well, there's two things that I'm gonna look at when I have this conversation with you. If we'll even say rates are, we'll say ugly 7%,
Mhm.
okay? I'm gonna ask you simply about your goals. You're gonna tell me you want more money in your life like everyone else. This $150,000, let me ask you, Doug, with this sitting in your mortgage right now, how much is it appreciating?
Not much.
It actually isn't.
How-
So no matter what, if I put 5% down, or if I put 20% down, the house appreciates independently of my mortgage. Follow me? So if that's the case, I have $150,000 that is sitting in my mortgage that made my payment go, nice and low, and it's great. Because it is my money, keep that in mind, that is your money. But this isn't doing anything for you, and if you've listened to anything I've said over the last 2 years, inflation is just ridiculous. Been more rate hikes historically than ever. Even across, I was talking about the UK is having problems right now.
Yeah.
What does that mean? This value is slowly becoming less and less every single day. There's two aspects where I can assist you. Okay? Because there's not a single credit card out there right now. If there is, you call me and tell me right up for under 7%, a genuine card. That is not just killing you on payments or anything else. So let's say we have $50,000 in debt. Okay. Boom. And let's say that $50,000 in debt, and I think this is a very fair number. We'll say it's about $1,100 a month. Minimum payments. That's a very fair number. So if your payment right now is, we'll just say $2,800, but if we went to 7%, we used all of the money that we had, your payment goes up to $4,000. Well, we're still, still not making sense, Colton. I still have that 1,100. I'd be only at 3,900. What about the other 100K?
Another
What
question
could you-
here about.
Follow me. 100K, I have $100,000 left. What if I wanted to expand my real estate, because you just agreed with me that inflation is what it is, and more importantly, that you also don't want to sell this house because you think it's going to be worth more in a little bit. Wouldn't it be advantageous to take that $100,000 that's sitting in your house not doing anything, apply that to an investment property, and when rates come down to 5%, fold and refi, you have no refi costs because they've been purchased for you? So that's a way that now not every single client is going to come to me with $250,000 in equity. But I can tell you right now that I'm having tons of conversations with people from all demographics and all aspects. And what I'm noticing, savings is down and credit card bills are high.
Yes.
So you can solve that utilizing debt and get an investment property that is now going to be two things: a vehicle for your taxes when you start an LLC with one of my attorneys, a referral, insurance referral. We're just going to load them up. And on top of that, you're now going to have cash flowing income. So what would that do to your overall monthly payment when you go, this payment sucks? Does it suck when you have no other debt and you have two properties now instead of one and one's paying?
And we're
And I just referred you back to your realtor Jana to knock out an investment property purchase, and she's gonna crush it, and I'm gonna crush it on the loan side.
Another thing, so when you take the money, 150 from there, so it's 2% rate, right?
No.
No, it's money, that's money is in your, oh, that's not part of the, so I'm paying more 7% interest for that money.
So now you have a $400,000 loan at 7%. And that's where people just get stuck right here. Limited beliefs, right here, 7%, you hear Mike, 7%, guys, that isn't even that bad.
I see, but you get another
But-
property.
But I can access your property, I can pay off this debt. Talk about your financial stress mentally, it's just gonna be so much lighter knowing that when you're talking to people and they're going, these rates are just ridiculous. Yeah, we just bought our second investment property. Pretty cool, and you turn people's thinking, and what's crazy is, and I mean this very humbly. People in America brag about what they got. People in other countries brag about how much they don't spend on things. People over here brag about how much their car costs, right? So they're gonna be telling everybody in the world, they're gonna be posting online how they have an investment property and how they do it, and the first thing people are gonna come up and say, how'd you do it? Right? Let me get you connected with my lender. Let me get you connected with my realtor. They helped me find this specific property that I don't think anybody else could help me with. And I didn't even think about doing this until I started looking at this interest rate. So that would be a situation where I think even in this market, we could really be helping people.
That's a very.
It's all about trust. And the more people that you have in that circle with the same message about yourself and your business, gonna validate your advice.
I think a lot of people have actually equity in their house.
Tons of equity.
A lot of people.
Yes.
I just refinanced my house twice, year after year. And at a 5.8% refi rate, and I still have on. That's. I mean, it is bonkers. Our rate of value increasing year over year is bonkers.
One thing I've noticed, and because we're looking to buy a third investment property. Is you gotta make sure though that the rents can cover
Right. But 100%.
PITI.
100%.
And the rents are starting to get so ridiculous, people are like, renting that house. So now there's thousands of rentals sitting vacant. Now you've got covering costs. So trying to find the right price for the rental that has a decent rental lease amount. To get it occupied ASAP is really critical. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so with that too, then, that is unfortunately, the result of inflation. Now that inflation is
It's for
going
the
down,
investors though too.
yeah, it is. But you may see a lot of those homes now going up on the market if they can't cover.
You're about to see a lot of homes in Dallas. Did y'all see about the Airbnb rule?
Yep.
Oh my,
No more Airbnb in Dallas.
writing that one down, goodness.
Are they allowed to have Airbnbs in Dallas or not?
No more short-term rentals, and those people who are now gonna see long-term rentals. Returns, that's gonna be a lot less than their short-term, I imagine so. They're gonna be putting someone's face in someone's yard.
So where is it actually, Airbnb are actually allowed? In Dallas State?
They're not allowing them in Dallas anymore,
How many anywhere?
The city of Dallas.
in the city of Dallas.
And then once that catches on.
Yeah, Frisco's gonna do it.
Fort Worth actually won't let you. I had a house where they were trying to use the mother-in-law suite as income, and I just sent them a picture of the law. So don't email me about this anymore. This is kind of illegal. And no, I won't use this as income. But it's a cool mother-in-law suite. All good. Yeah, Bob, let's start this class, right?
At 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Perfect.
You just stay in the killer Airbnb in Austin.
Yeah.
I hope Austin
Oh, me
doesn't
too.
stop allowing that.
That's where I did my bachelor party.
I mean,
We just got a huge like ranch house. So sick.
Well, we were in a